You finally say it, the idea you've been sitting on through the entire meeting. You get exactly 4 words out, and then a voice rolls right over yours, louder, faster, and the room physically turns toward them instead. You sit back. You tell yourself it's fine. You probably weren't quick enough or loud enough, or maybe the thought wasn't fully baked anyway. In that split second, the room passed a collective verdict on whose ideas matter and whose can wait. You were looking for a pause. They were looking for a claim. These moments serve as a quiet status map. They represent a real-time, subconscious negotiation of workplace power, where every cutoff signals who the room currently treats as an authority. Take a colleague we will call Maya. Maya is the one who spots the fatal flaw in the quarterly plan 3 weeks before it blows up. But in the meeting, she opens with, "I'm wondering if maybe," and by the word maybe, a faster, flashier voice has already jumped in. When this happens enough, the interrupted person adapts. She waits for a perfect gap that never comes. She shrinks her ideas into safer, smaller versions, and eventually she slides her notepad away and watches the plan fail on schedule. Then review time arrives. The loud colleague who steered everyone off the cliff is praised for their confidence. Maya is told she needs to speak up more to be leadership material. Linguists call this a status organizing cue. When people don't already know a pecking order in a room, they build one on the fly, partly based on who feels entitled to take over the floor and who accepts being silenced. When a room consistently rewards the person who grabs the floor, it trains itself to read talking time as competence. This creates a feedback loop where volume dictates who gets promoted, while the expertise of the interrupted employee is slowly erased from the record. Before you go to war with everyone who talks over you, you have to identify the intent. Not every interruption is an attack. There are 2 very different conversational behaviors at play. The first is a power interruption. It's hostile, replaces your half-finished thought, and takes the spotlight. The second is a rapport interruption. Your thought continues, and a colleague cooperatively jumps in to finish your sentence or add an example. Identifying whether they are burying your idea or building on it stops you from accidentally fighting a critical ally. One is a power move, the other is just enthusiasm. To see how a room actually processes these power dynamics, look at a study from the early 2000s, where researchers tracked interruption frequencies among groups of business students. The findings showed that assertive individuals routinely used interruptions to perform dominance, successfully climbing the internal hierarchy of their small groups. But the researchers also asked peers and outside observers to rate everyone in those groups on actual leadership qualities. This scatterplot charts the result. On the bottom axis, the frequency of interruptions. On the vertical axis, perceived leadership. As the interruptions spike, the leadership scores drop. The colleague who bulldozes every meeting feels powerful in the moment, but they look insecure over time to the people watching. The room is keeping a scorecard that penalizes the loudest voices for overcompensating. If you've been trying to fix this by simply being more assertive, you are trying to solve an environment problem with a personality fix. Environment problems require structural solutions that you can deploy before the sentence even begins. Your first line of defense is signposting. When it's your turn, explicitly state the shape of your thought. I've got 3 points here. You have just built a fence. Interrupting you mid-list feels socially clumsy in a way that cutting off a vague thought never does. When an interruption inevitably occurs, avoid the instinct to talk louder. Instead, use calm reclamation. Drop your pitch slightly and use their name to snap their attention. "Hold on, David, let me finish this." Then you bridge. Briefly acknowledge their comment, "That's a fair point and I want to come back to it," and explicitly state that the floor is still yours for 10 more seconds. By maintaining a grounded pitch and keeping your structure intact, you project authority. You aren't wrestling for the floor, you are informing the room that you simply hadn't finished. The floor naturally slides toward whoever the room treats as an authority. If you stand on the part of the map where the floor tilts steepest, the strongest solution doesn't even rely on you. You build a systemic alliance. Find one colleague you trust and make a pact to pull each other back in. When you see your ally get cut off, you say the magic sentence, "I don't think Sarah was finished." "Sarah, you were saying?" You can also restructure the meeting format itself. Suggesting round robins or requesting written inputs before a discussion removes the reward for people who win debates based purely on reflexes. For the repeat offender, the best fix happens in private. Catch them after the meeting and keep it focused on the rhythm of the conversation. I noticed I kept getting cut off in there today. Can we find a better flow? True authority isn't about fighting to be the loudest voice. It is the quiet confidence of holding your ground and engineering the space for others to do the same.